Hello, welcome to Tales on Nigeria TV. I'm Favor of Yenloba, and this is the Breakfast Show.
Welcome back. Now, growing up and for as long as I remember, it's been a common practice in Africa and especially Nigeria to have domestic staff and aides that are given assignments and tasks to do in the house. These people are commonly known as house helps. But as time has evolved and with so many controversial happenings around the country, one would wonder if this practice is still welcomed in Nigeria. Today on the Breakfast Show, we're going to be discussing having and keeping house helps in Nigerian homes. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Hi, Adana.
Good morning. Now, before we go into the legal aspect of this particular question I'm about to ask you, I want to know your personal opinions. What's like the age bracket for you when hiring a house help or domestic staff in your home? What's the age bracket?
Okay, for me, I think I'll go with between 18 and 30.
Why 18?
Because I do not want to get a minor. So from 18, should be able to do some house chores.
Yeah.
So 18 to 30 is okay for me.
Kate?
Well, I would say from 25.
25 and above.
Yeah, from 25. And it has to be someone who takes this particular job as a job.
Yeah.
It's not someone who is in need, someone who needs help.
Yeah.
I don't want someone who would say, madam, anything I would manage, because those kind of people appear to me as desperate people, and what to come after, I'm not sure my chest can carry.
But for someone that is 25, like you said, 25 and above, do you think you have the financial means to be able to afford what the person actually deserves?
Yes, I can.
When it comes to the pay?
It all depends on what the person wants to take. I'll tell you how much I want to pay you. If you're cool with the pay, then you can resume. There's definitely someone out there who the money you think is small to you means something to the person.
Yeah.
So of course, I'm saying 25 because the person somehow would be mature in some kind of way. And I would even want someone who has her own kids. So you can just, come in, work.
So it's a live in and live out situation.
Yeah. Don't live in, no.
It's a live out situation, rather. Yeah.
Strictly a live out situation.
Okay,
just
now
work
we've seen in Nigeria, it's not any secret anymore that it's not a secret that we see a lot of children, minors, 6, 7, 8, 5 years old, hawking on the streets. We see a lot of minors living with people out of school minors, and you see them staying in homes as domestic staff, and it's actually very crazy.
And when we even say domestic staff, it's not like they're domestic staff.
Yeah, but the ones pushing it up, these people actually
house girls
and house boys. Yes.
Because they don't even earn like a salary.
Yeah.
Because if most of them do, they are supposed to do the job for a period, then gather money and maybe go to school, send themselves to school or something. But these people don't even earn a salary. They just stay there and do house chores morning till night, week in, week out, and the only thing they're entitled to is food. And sometimes the food they even have to plead before they see the food.
They don't even eat they don't even eat from the same pot.
Why does someone even intend to plan to take a 6 or a 7-year-old?
But people actually do it. It's crazy, but people do it.
You will not want your child to even do some chores at that age. So why would you want to pick someone?
And it's actually crazy that the national child welfare policy that has been existing since 1989 actually states that this is a crime for minors from 12 years old, and then the human rights that says minors are from below 18. So it's actually a crime, and I find it very funny that the fine is just either 50,000 naira or you have 5 years of jail time. That's a ridicule. That's ridicule.
The year, I think it has not been amended because
it's not functioning in the country.
It is, but the question is, do people actually report? Because we are supposed to be our brother's keeper, right? Maybe we live in an environment where we see a neighbor maltreating a maid, and what we say as usual is none of our business. We move. So who is supposed to report this neighbor to the right authorities?
There was a state, I think it was Lagos State, that started something that once it's from 8 a.m. to I think 12 or 2 p.m. and
no street child.
Once any child that is seen on the street hawking would be taken, and they're going to try to trace the adults in charge of that child's welfare, and those people are going to be reprimanded. But I think that thing has faded off because it's not even happening right now. Every day, if you just step outside now, you're going to see so many children hawking on the streets. Now, okay, for another angle to this, you think, because you already said you don't want a living household, but for Miss Favor, what's your situation? What's your take on this? Are you going to prefer having a house help that stays with you 24/7, and or someone that just comes once in a while to do the chores and goes back?
It's just once in a while, like maybe.
Why? Why once in a while?
I do not like leaving. I prefer leave out.
Yeah.
So just come, do your thing, do your chores, and go. You're not a family member, so why will you want to why you're here to work, so do your work and leave.
It's a job. For me, it's a job. That's why I'm saying 25. Someone who needs the money, someone who is not coming and saying, Madam, help me, even if it's 100 naira. You know, when people, most of these house helps we see that are very young, they have parents, but the parents are probably in the village. And maybe this foster parent to take them in because the parents have said, help my child, I have 12. Can you take this one to the city and, give this one a better life? And the agreement usually will be, come to the city, I'll give you an education, a place to stay, I'll feed you, since the burden is a lot on your parents. Let me take you from the village. And most times when these children come to the city, it's not what they expect. They just end up working their butt off every other day. The education thing is just going to be a mirage. It will never happen. And at some point, they steal their madam's money or whatever it is and run away. So that's how it ends. But we still see the people who actually take in children, young children, send them to school, treat them like their own children. But these children will still steal from them and run away. So it's a
that brings me to my next question. Talking about man's inhumanity to man, we've seen cases of house helps, either mistreating. We've seen maybe CCTV cameras capturing it, whether they're mistreating their bosses' children, or they're trying to poison, or they're trying to do other things. And vice versa, we've seen bosses mistreating their domestic staff. So is it just a case of man's inhumanity to man, or do you think there's a particular reason? And on another level, we've seen people that actually come, they stay for long, and they're actually nice, and they stay,
And years later, they turn to family members. Years later, you see a mature woman will come to your house and your mother will say, she was just this age, and this is her own child, these are her children. You're like, it's like a family thing. So I really don't know. I think it's an individual thing. It really depends on the individuals, depends on the boss, and depends on the employee. Okay, so if I'm a nice boss and I get lucky, because this kind of thing sometimes I consider luck a lot. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't. We've had people. My mom was not someone, or she is not someone who helps little children. She would rather a mature lady. I think that's where I even learned that one from. You come, you work, you stay with. When we're growing up, the nanny would stay with us, ensure we have our siesta, and then she leaves when my mom returns from work. So that's how she operates. Then there was a time when a family member now said, I have 13 children, the normal story now, help me with one. And she took in 2. One was about 13, 14, the other one was 6, 7, about that age. And these 2 girls were wrecking my mother. Anytime they are going home for holidays, they are going with big bags. And my mom is like, I'm sure it's the clothes that I gave them. And then when they go home, she will discover that one ear of her earring is missing. There's this particular fabric she was planning to use for a wedding, for an event, and she cannot find it. And I'll be like, why are things getting me? Nobody will want to believe that these children are stealing. So there was a time my mom's friend now said, before this your helps travel, just search their bags. Thing. I know you don't believe that they are stealing from you, but just search their bags. You know what you can do? You can send them out to go and
do something.
Then just search their bags. And she actually agreed to it. And she said, she saw her trinkets, her fab. She was in shock. She could not believe it because the stories we used to hear is when your boss is mean to you. That's when you will steal from your boss to wreck your boss, and maybe you want to find your own freedom. But she was not mean to these people. She already took them in as her own children. So what she just did, she knows the parents. So she was like, no, I can't take any other thing, but I don't want who come and be stealing from my house. And she had to send these people back. So I just think it's luck. I've seen bosses who are kind, and the maids end up poisoning them. I've seen the ones who even, according to spiritual people, they are witchy. I've seen helps that are possessed. When you start, why the stress? You start taking your help from one church to the other. Why the stress?
I had a conversation with a friend yesterday about this topic, and she told me she got a house help, and in her dream she saw 2 rats. she killed one, the other one escaped, she later killed the other one, you know, that spiritual aspect, and later the lady stopped working, that's the house help. So now, we've also seen situations read on social media where, you know, kids, minors, they take for house help when they come out and start, you know, misbehaving and start saying, oh, they definitely wanted to poison them, they initiated them and all of that. So there are so many angles to this.
I definitely have to share this story. It's a very, you know, crazy story. There was this family that got a house help, and she stayed with them for so many months, and according to them, they were so lucky. This girl, she was just like the perfect, like you said, it's a thing of luck. She was like the perfect house help at home. She does everything, takes care of the children, nothing goes missing. She was just perfect. And then one day, the husband comes back from work, and everybody in the family, they are purging. His wife, his children, including the house help, everybody's purging. And from purging, they are all unconscious, and he rushes them to the hospital, his whole family. And, you know, after some treatments and everything, the wife is okay, children are okay, but the house help dies.
Whoa.
And they have to compensate the family. Okay, no, sorry. Before that, when they go home, you know, rushes to the hospital to do everything. Nobody was security conscious anymore. So by the time they got home, they had been robbed. A lot of things had been stolen. Valuables had been stolen from their home and everything. But remember, the house help is dead now. And so they had to compensate the house help's family. Oh, sorry, your child died in our care and blah, blah, blah. So like 2 years later, they have a friend in a hospital. She's a nurse. And certain people run into the hospital with their children and wife, everybody purging, and the house help too. And the house help is in a more critical situation. So the nurse is looking at us and like, this face is familiar. I have seen this face somewhere before. And it just clicked that this is the same house help that died in my friend's care 2 years ago. So she calls the friend and she's like, the friend was like, what kind of story is this? So they all rush to the hospital. Eventually, everybody, the family, everybody were fine, so they were dismissed and just the house help in the hospital. But the friend already alerted the man's family that you should go back home and put security in your home because you're probably being robbed right now. So the man was smart enough to send police people to his home. And at that point, they actually caught people running away, but they didn't catch the...
I'm lost, Madonna.
Wait, it's like a business for them. It's like
how did she die?
The thing is, I think they give her an extra dose of whatever they give to the other people. So she's not breathing. I don't know how they do it, but she's going to be confirmed dead. And then when the family comes to take her corpse away,
they take her home.
Okay, so the family is aware.
It's a family business. Whoa. It's a family business. So when they eventually came back to the hospital, those people that she alerted, her friends, they had to keep security there. And in real situation, there's no security involved, so her family can't come to retrieve her corpse. Normally they will come to retrieve her, and maybe give her the antidote.
They'll still get compensated.
Give her the antidote and then they get the compensation. So they could not retrieve her body, and she now really, really died. They could not trace the family, they could not trace anybody. All the numbers, everything was just gone like that.
Now that's
this is not African.
I swear. Like this, I was really sorry and I had my mouth open and I was like, what's going on here? So you see people actually, you hear of reliable agencies online. And I think in this case, the house help was gotten from an agency. So you hear of reliable agencies online and you're thinking...
You're talking agencies. These agencies, are they the ones that groom these people? The answer is no. Because the only thing the agency will do is find these people and do background check. What background are you checking? If I find a help and I decide to say, okay, Adana, act as my mother, Favor, act as my aunt, then two of people will sit there in the living room and say, please help my daughter with your job. Is that not enough? Because the agencies too are looking for money. So at some point, I'm even sure they don't even do background checks. Because if someone is on their case and saying, I need a help desperately, and the client is willing to pay, they will just go out there and pick anybody. Highest, they'll say, okay, do a few medical tests. Who is your father? Bring guarantor. Go and let your guarantor sign. Anybody can sign as guarantor. You come back, bring your guarantor's passport. You can bring anybody's picture. So I've seen people try to do background checks in Nigeria. It's not that thorough. So it's only when something happens like this that we now start digging deep. But then the deed is already done. The mess is already carried out already. So for people who want to have help, like I always say, it's luck. Because agencies would give you a help and the help would try to steal from you or even try to kill you. You find your own, go to the village and do your own search for help. help will still come and want to run away, because most of those people are not enlightened. They come to the city and see flyover and they think you're trying to kill them. And they take their bags and they pack, and people start asking, your madam, what did your madam do you? And maybe you do not even actually do anything. Then we also see situations where people would say, okay, I don't need a girl to, you know, work for me. I need a guy, because guys have strength. And at the end of the day, maybe you have girl children in your homes, and the rest is history. Your children I've seen sexual abuse. There's a home I know that they have a young boy living with them, and do you know what this boy does? He takes, because one of the members of the house has a boutique, so she has like mannequins in her home. This boy will take mannequins to the backyard of the house, and you know what I'm talking about.
Thank God he's doing it with mannequins. So he's doing it with mannequins.
He has started with mannequins.
You don't want to face the children one day.
Definitely he'll want to face the kids
personally, I would advise, you know, I would advise people that want to have domestic helps. There are certain things you should do on a personal level. Aside, there are certain things you should do personally for your own safety, for security reasons. If you can afford a CCTV camera, please keep one in your home. If you can, make sure you have details of this person. And for people that pay their domestic staff cash, I think that's a very, very wrong move, because there might be somebody that is in your home with a fake identity and everything. Obviously, if somebody has an account and you can verify the person's BVN and account. So there are certain things you should know. So if things go bad, if things go sad, there's a way you could trace this person and actually, you know, apprehend the person. So don't make payments, cash payments to the person. I know people will think you're being, or my dear, be extreme. This is your, go to the extremes, because this is your safety, this is your family's safety that we're talking about. So there are certain things you should be very, very careful of. And just also have a clear conscience that you're not wicked to this person.
If you notice any funny behavior, you understand. If you notice any funny behavior, don't hesitate. You know, most times you say our instincts. I'm overthinker. It's too late. If you notice any funny behavior, send the person away. Because sometimes we notice that our helps become maybe arrogant, you know, they don't smile. Why would you be working for me and you're not smiling? What's
and I'm not maltreating you.
I'm not doing anything wrong to you, and you're just always frowning. And you know, if the help is not someone that is very vocal, I like people. My boss will say he likes people that can express themselves, people that can speak. I like people that can talk. Don't come and say you're a quiet type. Don't be a quiet type. Talk. What's going on? I gave a story of a man who has 2 boys, and he usually has helps every other month. He's changing guys that are taking care of him, and he doesn't even know that these boys that he brings to the house to take care of his sons, when while he's away, because he's a single father, these boys will take his sons to the next compound to go and play. The help will serve these boys food, and these children will play to the next compound. If it's raining, they are in their birthday suit in the rain, dancing. If the guy wants to have a guest, he will bring a female guest to his home, turn on this man's gen, burn his fuel, and, you know, leave it at a certain level. You know, everywhere will now be good. By 4, 5, when the man returns, everybody is dressed up nice. Daddy, welcome. They don't know what happened. The man does not know what has happened between 2 and that 5 p.m. when the children return from school. So it's luck. Last. You just pray for luck. You need to pay close attention to the people you have in your home.
Before we go now, I just want to quickly read the comments we have on Instagram. Now we threw a question, and the question was, is keeping house help still a thing? And Liz_skincare says, my opinion is, if you find a good one, stick with them and treat them nice. Else, please manage and don't get your household into a mess. And before you realize what hit you so hard, damage would have been done already. It takes God's grace and mercy not to fall victim. This is very true.
We have this one from Lola_Aderogba. Says, yes, it's still a thing, but it's advisable to let her work as a nanny. Let her work and go. We don't have to enslave young girls, all in the name of housekeeping. Ensure you employ someone that's mature.
Okay, and moving on, it's Mildred_O says, it's still a thing, though I would prefer one that doesn't have to stay in. Just come and go.
I think that's the end of the month. You get your pay. It's as simple as that.
Do your thing and go.
But even those that come and go, I don't even advise you being so trusting to these people.
That's the most important thing. Is
keep an eye on these people. Just understand that this person is here for his own personal gain. So just know that things could go.
Just praying to God.
Be very prayerful.
Basically, that's it. Because we've heard stories. If you have to share stories, I'm not sure we'll leave here today. We've heard stories of these things happening year in, year out in different cities. And we also know of people who are actually maltreating their helps. Now, if you don't have any good intentions for a young girl or a young boy, please do not house that person, because most people will say, I'm feeding you, that's enough. These people they are young people with a future. If you do not take care of this child well, the way you take care of your own child, you are building a damaged person, and you're launching a time bomb that will explode later. Because we keep asking ourselves, we have a lot of adults that are wicked. The question is, how were these people raised? So if we have the opportunity to have young people, children in our care, under our care, let's do the right thing.
And very, very, very importantly, be security conscious. Like I said earlier, do not be 100% trusting. Do not trust these people. Just know that they are there for their own personal gains, and you should also protect yourself as much as you can. And that's going to be all today on The Breakfast Show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember that we do this every Monday and Wednesday. Do well to join us next week, Monday, on The Breakfast Show, and subscribe to all our follow us on all our socials at TSL Nigeria TV. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, TSL Nigeria TV. Till we come your way again, do well to stay safe. Bye. I'm Wana Dana.
Stay connected to TSL Nigeria and get updates on the go all day, every day. Subscribe to our YouTube channel on TSL Nigeria Space TV and join our online family.